The neighborhood was quiet, a sleepy suburban haven where lawns were manicured and mailboxes gleamed. I'd lived here for years, keeping to myself, until HOA Karen moved in. She wasn't just the HOA president, she was its dictator. Every blade of grass, every holiday decoration, every trash can placement fell under her scrutiny. Her emails were legendary, long, passive-aggressive screeds about community standards. I dodged her wrath until last spring, when I painted my mailbox a cheerful yellow. Karen called it an eyesore. I called it art. That's when the war began. It started small fines for non-compliant mailbox color, notes taped to my door about my dog's excessive barking. I ignored them, thinking she'd tire out. I was wrong. One humid July evening, I came home to a nightmare. My front door was ajar, and inside, my house was a sea of packing peanuts. They spilled from the living room, clogged the kitchen, floated up the stairs. My furniture was buried, my photos ruined. The air was thick with static, the smell faintly chemical. I stood frozen, heart pounding, as my neighbor Jim rushed over, wide-eyed. "Karen did this," he whispered. "She's lost it." The next morning, the neighborhood buzzed. Karen stood on her lawn, smug, claiming it was a harmless prank to teach me a lesson. But the peanuts weren't harmless. A hazmat team arrived, their suits rustling, explaining the peanuts were coated with a chemical flame retardant toxic in high quantities. My house was now a health hazard. The cleanup bill? $12,000. The court order? Eviction until it was safe. Karen's smirk faded when the police arrived. Her prank, now a felony. I wasn't the only victim. Jim confessed Karen had bullied him for years, threatening fines over his kid's basketball hoop. Others spoke up. Mrs. Lopez, whose garden was accidentally sprayed with weed killer. Mr. Patel, whose car was keyed after he parked too close to Karen's driveway. The neighborhood turned on her, but Karen doubled down, screaming about her rights as HOA president. The tension was electric, a community fracturing under her reign. Then came the twist. At the court hearing, a quiet old man named Mrs. Evelyn stepped forward. She was Karen's mother, a frail figure no one noticed before. Her voice shook as she revealed Karen's obsession with control stemmed from a childhood trauma house fire she'd survived as a child, where she lost everything. "She's not evil," Mrs. Evelyn pleaded. "She's broken." The room stayed silent. Empathy flickered, but it didn't erase the damage. Karen's house, my life, our trust, her pain had poisoned us all. The judge was merciless. Karen faced jail time, restitution, and a restraining order. Her house was sold to cover my cleanup costs. I returned home weeks later, the peanuts gone but the scars lingering. My neighbors rallied, helping me repaint, replant, rebuild. Yet the victory felt hollow. Karen wasn't a monster, just a woman whose wounds became weapons. I saw her once, months later, at a gas station. She looked smaller, defeated, her eyes avoiding mine. I wanted to hate her, but all I felt was pity. The neighborhood changed. We formed a new HOA, one that valued people over rules. Jim's kids played basketball freely. Mrs. Lopez's garden bloomed. But the memory of Karen's chaos lingered, a cautionary tale. Her prank wasn't just about peanuts, it was about power, pain, and how far someone could fall when they let resentment rule. I learned to forgive, not for her, but for me. Letting go was the only way to reclaim my home, my peace.